And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. It is Labor Day weekend, and this is kind of like a special hangout kind of time. Felt like popping on this wonderful day. I know that everyone's probably traveling or relaxing by the pool, getting ready for the barbecue, or if you're in New York City, you're probably going to the West Indian Day Parade. The West Indian Day Parade. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. And also, it is the last day of the last unofficial day of summer. So welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so good to see everyone in the building. I see people popping in slowly popping in the building. I see good. Oh, the first person that gets the gold this morning is Miss G.R. Houston Jack. She says good morning, and Amparo's in the building. She says good morning. She says good morning to G, and then she says Grand Rising. And then we have the great Omar Ramos, photographer extraordinaire. He says, Happy Labor Day. And he says, I am laboring. I am not laboring today. No one in New York City dares to do work on. Let's just say that there's some professional people that are doing catering today. Like one of my buddies, he's doing catering today. He has a catering company upstate New York, and he's doing that. Shout out to him, Mr. Kson, and he is doing that today. So there are folks working for for this holiday, so that's a good thing. I will be up at the. I will be heading to the Parkway, Eastern Parkway here in Brooklyn to photograph the West Indian Day Parade. I said I'm going to go early this year. I go once. Usually I just go for an hour or two, just to get some photos, just to kind of like document the happenings. For those that don't know what that is, here in New York City, we have it's so strange. Let me just go. Let me just keep my train of thought. We have with the West Indian Day Parade. Let me see if I can present that to you guys so you can see what that looks like. And I'm going to present my screen, and you will see that it's all these costumes and different looks, and people are out there. Let me see if can I get this screen up higher? Let me see. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can get that. So yeah, it's the West Indian Day Parade. It's got floats, it's got music, it's got food, it has everything that you possibly could want. It is this today. It is today. And it's so funny because I remember that when I was a kid, that Labor Day was all about labor in New York City. So when I was a kid, there was no such thing as a West Indian Day Parade. That came later on, but when I went to my first Labor Day parade on Eastern Parkway, it used to be military people and union workers and floats and bands and marching bands. That's what it used to be when I was a kid. When I was like 5, 6, 7 years old, 8 years old, my parents used to take me up there to catch the parade. And it was pretty cool. And then out of nowhere, we went up there one year and it was like all these demon outfits, devils and pitchforks and all kinds of stuff. And I was like, Mommy, I don't want to come back. So I must have been like 6 years old, 7 years old. And we were like, what happened to the Labor Day parade? It became the West Indian Day Parade on Eastern Parkway. But when it first started out, it was not like we see today. It used to be military, union workers, workers and staff and banners about, just like the rest of the world celebrates Labor Day. Labor Day around the world is celebrating labor, but in New York City, it became for Eastern Parkway, dedicated to the West Indies. And again, there's all kinds of photos here. Let me see if I can pop this. Let me pop that screen up. Can I do that? It won't. It doesn't seem to want to do it. But yeah, these are all the advertisements about what's going on and all that's happened before. Anyway, just thought I would share that with you all. Also, I did not send a link out today. You know why I didn't send a link out today? Because you can now scan if you want to come on and talk and share. Today is one of those days. It's just we're just going to hang out. So if you want to come on and just pop on chat, you can do that by just scanning the QR code on the corner of the screen here, and you can come into the studio and join us um, on the platform. So that's what's good about today. Today is just a relaxed day. I was like, do I go on? Do I not? And I was like, well, you know what? There may be some people that are home and just doing nothing. And so here I am. The weather here in New York City, can I say it is a breath of fresh air. Last night it's like someone turned on the New York City air conditioning. Literally, it was like clicking a switch and then all the cool air started blowing into the house. I was like, holy moly. And it's been so beautiful. It's supposed to be beautiful all week in the 70s, no 80s. This is my type of weather. It should never go above 80. Really should never go above 70. But it's gonna be beautiful. Yeah, and Paro, she says this is the 57th year, so that must have been I was 3. I was 3 years old when my mother took me when it was just regular labor. I remember her sitting me on the curb. I used to sit on the curb to watch the parade. Yeah. Wow, it's been 57 years since it's been the West Indian Day Parade? Interesting, interesting. But I remember the first time, I must have been 3 then, because 'cause I'm 60 now. So I must have been 3 years old when they had the old Labor Day parades. But yeah, and then my mother took me back up there, and I guess when I was 5 or 6, and I was terrified. I was terrified. I could not believe the devils that were the pitchforks. I was like, "Mom, no, I can't. I don't like the devils. No." So anyway, so it's been 57th year. Thank you, Emparo, for that information. Hey, JP is in the building. Labor Day parade is in Manhattan on Saturday. That's when. So the Labor Day still is celebrated, but on Saturdays. Okay, thank you, Joe. Thank you, sir. And but yeah, I was whatever happened to the Labor Day parade? It used to be on Eastern Parkway. It's gone. It's been gone for years. For 57 years, it's been gone. G says, I miss all the parades. What's great about New York City is that there's a parade or a festivity or a festival every weekend during the summer months. And next week, we have our last closing. We have what's called the closing of the street fairs. And I will be with the Manhattan Chamber of Commerce. We sponsor the street fair on, I think it's 3rd Avenue. Sorry, not 3rd Avenue. On 2nd Avenue in Upper East Side from 86th Street down to 68th Street. So yeah, it's a really good event, and I will be there live sharing information for you guys on next Saturday. Also, I will when I go out to the Labor Day parade today, I will do my thing. You know how I do, photograph while being live. So we'll do that as well. So that way you can see me in action. And also you can see some of the people and the floats and all that good stuff. So, my perspective of things have changed since now I'm on live with you guys because now I have a community. And speaking of that community, our community it has grown on YouTube. I think I am now at 533 people, subscribers now. So I'm excited. We are making some traction. I am making use of what Omar has told me, and Gwendolyn has told me, but mainly Omar was like, "Really, Ron, you need to start using your stories more." And so what I've been doing is using my stories, like things that I like Omar does on his Facebook. Omar on his Facebook is he uses his nerd page and he shares all these different things that are happening in the news in photography and he posts it. I said, that's what I'm going to use my story page for. So what I've been doing is I've been posting my favorite IG accounts, different footage. Like I'm a weather geek, so I post lightning and all other stuff that's on there. And it's interesting that people like it. So I said, you know what? Um, it's a good way to geek out for me. so now so now every night I'm looking for geeky weather stuff and landscape photography and drone photography and sharing it and giving credit of the people that are, I think, some of the most amazing IG accounts that I follow. And it really started with my smartphone because, I do a lot of smartphone teaching. And I said, well, you know what? Let me also share some of the other folks that do smartphone teaching. So that way, it's not just me sharing with you, but giving you guys more resources. So, so if you go to my page, let me just see if I can pop that up here on my page here on the wonderful YouTube channel. Let me put in YouTube, and you will see, which is really funny is that one of my shorts has been viewed by 19,000 people. I was like, how is that possible? Yeah, at 19,000. And then what happens is I've been interacting with the folks. So it's like I've been also studying how to engage on YouTube better and how to build your audience and how to build your subscribers and how to build connecting. And is using your shorts to build connection with people. But then when people are leaving conversation, and creating conversation with you is I engage them. I have conversation with them. I talk to them. And it has been fun. I've been really, I think I said, this is a whole nother world. It's kind of like stepping it up in my YouTube world. But yeah, so let me just share. So one of these shorts went up twice, which is, I was like a little upset that it went up twice. But anyway, let me go ahead and share it. So here we go. So I've been sharing like volcanoes, and so this one right here, this IG, this one, it was the, yeah, I share my favorite IGs, but and I had just started. Oh, here it is. It is this volcano, the great IG post I put here, and from Instagram, and it is being seen by, it's been seen by 19,000 people in a couple of days, and it's been weird to me because, um, when I heard one of these, YouTube gurus talking about how to extend your reach, I was like, "How do I do this authentically?" Because you don't wanna just be doing it just to be doing it. You want to do things authentically. And I said, "Well, how about me just sharing the things I normally look at?" And so these are the things I geek out anyway. And so I've now learned to now post them onto my shorts, and then they won't live there long. I mean, they will get deleted after 30 days. I'm gonna try to see how this all works. But it's been good. It's been good. I've been sharing some tips from other photographers, and it's been a lot of fun doing that. And also, it's just been cool. And again, some of the stuff that I share is like the things that geek me out. So, like color theory. I love color theory when I'm doing photography. So I thought I saw someone in there and I said, photo tip find, and share that. So anyway, just thought that would be interesting so you know what I'm doing. Oh, speaking, I did not mean to see this, but today is the last day. I'm gonna have to do a little promo for myself. Didn't realize it popped on the screen, but this is the last day if you are interested in sales for my Etsy store. It's 25% off eligible orders. So just kind of like if you want to check out my new store. I worked so hard to get this done, and I'm trying to get it completed by Christmas. So there we are. That's what's going on in my world. So what's going on in your world? How did you guys spend your weekends? What did you do this weekend? And what are you doing today for this Labor Day? What are you doing for this day? Hey, Bryson's in the building. Hey, Bry, Mr. B is in the building. What's up, Ron? What's up, RLP family? What's up, CQ fam? Checking in from Jamaica, Montego Bay. Really? Bryson, you are traveling. Excuse me. Excuse me, Bryce. Let me clear my throat. Bryson has been traveling. Mimi is in the building. Miss Mimi Hinton is in the building. She says, "Good morning, Ron and RLP crew." Yes, the community is here. Oh man, that is so. I've never been to Jamaica, and I've dreamed of going to Jamaica. I've heard Jamaica is beautiful. I love Jamaican food. I love Jamaican culture. I would love to go to Jamaica. Anyway, one day. What are you guys doing? How are you spending this Labor Day? Please put it inside the comment box. How are you spending your Labor Day? Like I said, my buddy's here from out of town, so he's hanging out with me, and I'm hanging out with him. He's hanging out with me, and we are going to, like I said, go to the Labor Day parade, the West Indian Day parade. Let's get it correct. West Indian Day parade. He happens to be from the Caribbean, born in the Caribbean. Good morning, good mornings. Yes. So, what are you guys doing? Besides Omar, Omar's working today. Omar's working on this Labor Day. So, Omar, you couldn't take a break on Labor Day, or is it that you're just working like your regular working thing? Mimi says, "Congratulations on the store. Thank you so much." Yeah, I was like, I had the old store, and the old store was you had to order, and then I had to make the order, create the order, to the order, and then send the photo out. And I got sales. I have two items that sell all the time on my on my Etsy store. However, I said maybe I need to change this up because it was like not growing. It wasn't getting any mileage. It wasn't. So like Gwendolyn and I were talking, were texting this morning. You just sometimes have to change things up. And so I said, you know what? How can I build my store in a way that people can just go, click on the items, download the items, and it's theirs? Hold on a second as I reposition my glasses, and that they can, get the product right in hand. So it was so funny because as soon as I did it, a lady from Brazil, she reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you have this photo in such and such?" And I said, "Not right now, but because you asked, I will make it so by tomorrow." And then she ordered a photo and she got the download because now my whole store is primarily downloads. So people can download the photos versus waiting for framing, and you have to kind of like help them with framing and all that stuff. Now they can just download it. They can click, look, click, and download and print it any way they want. They can print it on glossy, they can print it on, eggshell, they can print it on a on a canvas, whatever they want. So it makes it much better. They can really, so they can print at Kinko's, they can print at which is Kinko's FedEx, or you can go to Walgreens and CVS and Staples to print the photos, which makes it great. Oh, wait, I see something in here. Today, G says relaxing and reflecting. Today would be my parents' 52nd wedding anniversary. Oh, and sending my love to your mom and all to your family. Gwendolyn. No, I'm not gonna call you Gwendolyn. Lady G. But yes, definitely my thoughts are with your family. Hey, Rashawn is in the building too. Rashawn is in the building. Happy Labor Day, Rashawn. And I see David Moscato is in the building. Good morning, Ron. Just back from a week on a commercial fishing boat in Alaska. documenting these fishermen now dealing with a dead car heading back to Cali. Wow. David, David, we need to have you on to talk about this. You know that, right? David, I feel a Wednesday. I feel a Wednesday being dedicated to this story. I want to hear your story. That must have been fascinating. Ah, what part of Alaska were you in? Were you in the Juneau area or were you in the what do you call the upper area of Alaska or the lower or mid Alaska? I mean, there's three layers of Alaska: the upper, middle, and lower. I've been to Ketchikan and Juneau, and I've been to Skagway, but you went to Wrangell? Wrangell. Where's Wrangell? I never heard of Wrangell. Wow. David, you know you have to come on. You got to tell this story. I would love to hear your story, and I would love to see the photos. I know you have to get it together. I know you're just getting back. So once you settle in and you do your thing, work your magic, please come on and share your work and share what you do so we can cover it and also give you some, as they say, some spotlight time. Okay. It's the girls club is in the building. Good morning, everyone, says the girls club. For those that are just joining, it's Labor Day, and today is just a relaxing day. And if you decide you want to come on the panel and just not even a panel, just come in and just talk and chat with me and chat with the community. All you got to do is scan now the QR code. I will try to provide each daily QR code for each show or each day we get together. In the QR code is embedded. It's the first link in the QR code. Okay, Southern Alaska, and we stopped in Ketchikan. Were you there during the landslide? They had a landslide last week, I do believe. I think it was Monday. I think it was last Monday or Tuesday. They had a landslide in Ketchikan. Ketchikan is so beautiful, so picturesque. It's so beautiful. Love Alaska. For those that have not been to Alaska, it is definitely worth going, especially as global warming begins to change the landscapes of Alaska. And since it is ours in the United States, it's easy to get to. You can just go on a cruise ship and go, or you can fly to Juneau, or you can fly, or you can really fly into Seattle, and then you go up to Juneau and yeah. So those are the beautiful places in Alaska. So many great places, but the glaciers are receding, so you may lose. So we're losing our glaciers. So a good time to see them is now. He said it was a day before sad people died. Yep, yep, people died in that mouse slide. Tough people live in these parts. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They are tough. They are tough. Who else is in the building? Okay, yeah. So again, today's not gonna be. I don't. Am I? Yeah, we may hang out longer. It depends on you. You will dictate how long this show goes and what we do on this show. Obviously, you guys are seeing what's going on. Kamala is taking some leadership in the polls this week, so that's pretty cool to see that. And however, it's still tight. It's still tight across the country. I heard Michigan is only like a 0.9%. 0.9%. I still can't believe that I can't even still believe that there's ties in these places. I still can't believe that there are people that want to vote for Trump. I just still can't believe that people are not educating themselves and don't understand that this is not a choice about red. I like the way someone said it this morning. This is not a choice between red or blue. This is a choice for red, white, and blue. Can I say that again? This is not a choice in this election for red or blue. It is a election for the red, white, and blue that we continue with a democracy. So, and that people have their freedoms. Freedom, freedom. I need you, right? Freedom. David says, I may have to cut out early waiting on AAA stuck on in Portland. Oh, Portland's so beautiful. Not that you, I not to celebrate you being stuck there, but man, Portland is another beautiful, beautiful part of our country. Some of the best shorelines are in Portland, Maine. Portland, Maine's shoreline has been rated one of the best shorelines in the world. Check out Portland, Oregon. You are in the Portland, Oregon, not Portland, Maine. You're in Portland, Oregon. Facts, Ron. Yep. Mimi says facts. It is not about the red or blue. It's about the red, white, and blue. Um, Rest in peace to Fat Man Scoop. I don't know Fat Man Scoop. I probably know, but knowing, you know how I am. I'm horrible with names, and I probably have heard the music. Fat Man Scoop. Sorry to hear about Fat Man Scoop. Let's get our wellness exams and keep the body healthy. Yes. Oh, thank you for that reminder, G. I have to make sure this week that I call my doctor to get my my physical. I am behind. I should have got my physical in May or April, and I did not get my physical, and it's already September. Even though I've been doing my dental stuff. I've been working on my dental. I mean, I got a dentist appointment this week, get my cleanings and all the other stuff, but I need my physical. Yes, thank you for that reminder, G. And also, as from our brother that was on last week, Mr. Frederick, and check your eyes. Make sure you get your eye examinations as well, because our eyes is how we see the world and they are precious. And so we have to make sure we get those glaucoma tests, we get those cataract tests, we get the eye examination to make sure our vision's good, make sure our eyes are not straining, especially we photographers. All the photographers out there, we have to be focusing on taking care of our eyes. All right? All photographers, all videographers, all the people that are in our creative professions, we need our eyes. There's something I guess it's from my dad's when I was growing up. Anytime I would see someone walk down the street that's blind, or see someone that is hearing impaired or eye impaired, you know what I do immediately? I say thank you. Thank you, God, for allowing me to have my eyes, having my sight, having my hearing, having my voice, having abilities to walk. You know, I I s- I I know, it's like Pelosi said in an interview, looking at every negative, looking at every negative and finding thanks and how we can grow and become better people from negatives, whether we see them in others or we see them in ourselves. And yeah, so our health is important. Thank you, G, for that reminder. Let's get our wellness exams and keep the body healthy. Health is wealth, says Mimi Hinton. It is true. Hey, look who joined. Look who joined us, y'all. Dr. Tachi's in the building. Dr. Tachi's in the building. She says amen. And we have the great Felicia Batten, which is our Fifi. Miss Fifi's in the building. And we have Adrian who popped in as well. Adrian is in the building. What's going on, Adrian NYC? So good to see you in the building. Today is a lax, easy, laid back Labor Day community chat. And in that, if anyone wants to pop on, all you have to do is scan the QR code. Look at me using technology. If you want to come on, all you have to do is scan the QR code and you can join me on screen or join us in the community if you wanna come on and talk. If you wanna come on and talk about what you're doing. If you wanna come on today is free time. Today's our little play day. We just hanging out, even though it's Motivation Monday. We'll get to motivation at the end. But let's just have time together. How about that? It's just good to be together. Serena's in the building. Our poet. Our poet is in the building. Our poet, and you know it, is in the building. She says, "Good morning to everyone." If you have not, if you are looking at this video and you have not heard of Serena, you must check out Serena's page. Go on to Instagram. You make it follow her there a little easier, Serena W. Or you can find her on Indie Soup, which we are all on. We are part of Indie Soup, and you can follow her, Indie Soup, as she does poetry and shares her words. And so you can do that. Indie Soup. They just give it a big out, they call it big out to our Indie Soup people. That is something that we definitely wanted to keep in building and encouraging people to go to. Usually these are done in reruns. I should say reruns. Encore. That is the most sophisticated way. Encore presentations are on Indie Soup. So check it out. Here I saw a lot of Trump shirts in Alaska. Yeah, Alaska is Trump territory. Yes. There are not many blue people in you may have blue in Juneau, but that's about it. And what's the city in Alaska? I forget. It's in my head. It's wants to come out. The capital of Alaska is Anchorage. Anchorage. In Anchorage, there's some blue in Anchorage. There's Anchorage in blue as well. So, but yeah, you probably only got a little. You only got a couple of blue spots in red Alaska. But yes, it's still a beautiful place to support, to go to, and enjoy the nature. But yeah. But also what I'm seeing around the country, look, I don't, here in, well, I should say around the country in New York City, because I haven't been around the country yet. Well, no, I've been around the country. I've been to South Carolina this year. I was in North Carolina this year. I was in, where else have I been this year? Okay, those are the two places, but I had to drive there and get there, fly there. But I'm seeing Kamala stuff. I don't usually see Democrats or people that are supporting the Democrat Party with flags and bumper stickers, like bumper stickers and lawn signs. They are everywhere. And also in my feed, people are putting up their stuff for Kamala Harris. And so I think the Democrats and the Independents are ripping a page right from the Republican playbook and showing off how much they love their candidate also. Derek is in the building. What's going on, Derek? Derek DT is in the building. Mr. Tuggle is in the building, our actor extraordinaire. Yeah. What do you since here, what are you guys looking at on television? I came across a new Netflix show. Now, now you know me. I always share something. If I find something good, I gotta share it with you. Netflix. Let me just get that up on the screen. Netflix. Hold on a second. Netflix. And it's called Gangs of London. Have you guys seen this series, Game of London? Holy moly. Let me see if I can get it up on the screen. I'll share it with you. Oh, not there. I'll just take it back to the take it back. Take it back. Here we go. Uh, okay, here we go. So this is games. You probably won't be able to hear it because I don't have it on ear mode, but it's called Gangs of London. Very good series on Netflix. Oh my goodness, lots of action. Well, first of all, let me say this show comes with a warning. I'm in season 2, but I was also there's a season 1. Check out season 1, season 2 was just released. If you're into Gangs of London, it is also shown on AMC. You can catch them there. But I have this thing for British television. So, anyway, just wanted to share that with you. But I was watching that last night, and, let me get this off the screen because I can't stop the of it, the noise, the sound from it. Gangs of London is wild, said Felicia. Phoebe said, "Gangs of London is wild." If you don't like a little bit of a gore, don't go look, don't watch this series. However, it kind of like is, gang 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 warfare is something else in different countries. We don't get to see it a lot in New York City. I mean, in America. I mean, there is gang wars. We have mafias here in America, but the gang wars in Europe are scary. You don't want to be nowhere near any of the gangsters in Europe. They are brutal, and this show really depicts the gang warfare in Europe. It's just, but even though this is London, I know Londoners don't like to be called Europeans, but they are, at least in my book. They don't like to be called, but gangs of London is wild. It is wild. That's the best way to describe it, Fifi. And Dr. Tachi says on the Netflix, is the I watched Emily in Paris and finally finished the first season of Lupin. Both two of those are my favorites. I love Lupin. Very, very, very smart writing. And it's one of those shows I don't mind the captions. And the same thing with Emily. Emily has captions because it goes back and forth between English and French. And I mentioned this here before. You know how we do this. Again, I'm letting you guys know this is the easy day. We just talking, just chatting it up. But Emily in Paris has the same feel of Sex in the City, as in what I mean by that, in its relationship with fashion and Paris being a character of the cast. Paris is a character of the cast, and it makes me excited when I see it because I one of my favorite cities in the world is Paris. I love going to Paris. I love eating in Paris. I can eat everything and not gain weight. For some reason, I can eat the foods in Paris and not gain weight. And so, so you see my buddy in the background. He's he does not realize he's on TV. So, um, but yeah, Emily in Paris is absolutely wonderful. And if you haven't seen it yet, right now, the season first half is already, been posted and done. But we are waiting for the next, I think next week or 2 weeks from now, the second part, which is the actual final. It's the final season of Emily in Paris, and it is the show that makes me want to learn French, and I want to learn French. I want to be no, I don't wanna be French. I just want to learn French. Wait, I think there's someone scanned the code. Someone scanned the code. Remember, if you guys wanna come on, all you have to do is scan the QR code. Yada! Technology at its best. And here she is. Here she is. Miss G is in the building.
Oh, man. Hey,
So it worked out nicely, right?
it's not so bad. I mean, I was getting myself together.
But you
Like I
see,
said, I
but
got my 5 miles in this morning.
are you oh, you went running?
You know what? It's been a while since I have ran a race, right? Like a
Yes.
half marathon, a marathon. So we're doing baby steps. So I power walk, which is still very fast, and then I
Yes.
run a quarter mile. So you can look at like interval training.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so I'll run a mile as a whole, and then I'll have power walked 4 miles.
Okay, okay, okay. There you go, there you
But
go.
can I bring a topic to the table?
Yes, come on, bring it
Okay,
in.
so I'm not very social. I know I look like I'm like always out there, but I'm not. And so I came across this kerfuffle of a topic again on TikTok, which I'm not very active, but people were talking about this Chase Bank glitch. Now I want to make sure we're clear about word choice because there are no glitches, right? There are no glitches. So
Uh-huh.
people were talking about writing yourself a check, depositing it, going to another ATM and taking the money out, knowing that you don't have that money in the bank. I thought, do folks not know what check fraud is?
Oh,
Like,
you can go to prison.
like I don't, I thought to myself on my walk, I thought, now my grandmama and my mama and my daddy told me if so and so jumped off the bridge, would you do it? And we would be like, no, I wouldn't do it. Clearly, these young people don't understand. One, you have a computer in your hand. You might want to check that hack or that glitch before you go doing stuff
So what
that
are
can
they
get you
doing?
put in jail.
Well, what do they do? Are they writing what are they writing checks? Are they just what are they doing? How are they going to Chase, is it Chase Bank or Citibank? Citibank.
Yes. Okay. So Chase Bank. So what they're doing
Chase
is
Bank.
they're depositing a check through the phone, right? So
Okay.
they're doing it through the phone. They go to an ATM. They take out the money before that check has cleared, right?
Holy,
And then, of
that's
course, they're like,
federal.
okay, well, yeah, the bank is going to realize that you don't have that money. Like you can call it, I mean, it's check kiting, it's check fraud, it's fraud. Let's just
Yeah,
say it's fraud. It's a crime.
it's
But I
a
love,
crime.
here's what I love. I love how, well, and when I use we, I'm using it very, very gently. But I like how we follow some of the dumbest stuff on the internet. You have a computer in your hand. Now, I'm gonna talk about my sister real quick because she's not here. But she was she was at work one day and she texted us to say, "Hey, what time is the Super Bowl game?" And nobody answered. Like nobody answered because if you take the time to text me on your phone, can
Yes.
you tell me when the game comes on? You could have said, "Hey, so and so, when does the game come on?" You can look that stuff
Yes.
up. It's in your hand. So when people
Yes.
are like, "Here's this new glitch from Chase Bank. Do this and get money." That's the dumbest thing ever.
That
Ever.
is insane. That is crazy. You
I,
can go to jail for well,
you can go
I
to
use
jail.
my I mean, it's a great service. For instance, when my clients pay me and I get a check and I'm on, and I just wanna I don't wanna go to the bank because lines are usually long. I just take a picture of my check, it goes in, but usually it's because I have the money in the account
Yes.
also.
That's the other part. So like when people were like, "Oh, I only saw a couple of these videos and most of those were the negative impacts. Like, "Oh my goodness, I'm now negative XYZ dollars in the bank." It is clear that we have clearly failed a good chunk of people. Now, again, when I was in school, public school in Texas before Texas started, let me not we had people, volunteers from junior achievement, and they came in. They taught us how to write a check. They taught us how to balance our checkbook. I knew how to file my taxes when I was in seventh grade. They also taught us how money moves. That
Yes.
when you write a check, it goes to this place, it goes to the clearinghouse, it needs to clear, then it goes to that place, and then it goes here. But people, this new age of people, and I don't want to make it a generational thing because I
No, because
remember
it's not
that
generational.
even before I left my other job, I was having chats about how money moves with grown ass adults who didn't understand open to buy, and that there is something called, "Hey, I'm going to reserve this money because I don't know if you're going to take it out and cheat somebody," right?
Yes.
Like. Ugh, it's clear that we need to bring back some very, very basics of how the financial system works, how money works, how to read your APR, how to figure out finance charges, and all that other BS. Because if you believe that Chase Bank has a glitch that allows you to get $31,000 and not pay it back, I have like a whole bucket load of bridges. I got a whole bucket of bridges, Ron, that I need to sell somebody.
And Dr. Tanya says, exactly. Then your stupid account will be overdrawn and you will owe the bank that money, probably plus fees. I'm sorry. We can't have been this this daft when we were their age. No. Well, you know what? Also, again, Gwendolyn makes a great point. When we were kids, we had home economics. Do you guys remember home economics? I don't know if they have home economics any longer. I heard they don't have it any longer. Home economics, when we were in the 7th grade, I think it was 7th grade, we had home economics. They taught us how to balance a checkbook. They taught us how to like write on the line, put the word, how to write the word, draw the line across, make the XX on the end, sign, and make your notes if you need to put notes on the check.
Yes.
We learned that in school. We learned that in 7th grade. And kids today only get that education if it's their parents teaching them.
Give it.
And we as a population don't have home economics. Remember that class? Remember home economics?
We had sewing. I sewed my
I had to learn how to sew. We learned how to sew.
An elastic band. I made lasagna, pancakes. We learned how to scramble an egg, how to boil an egg. We had some very basic skills because it was like, here's how you take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like it was that. But I keep going back to, how do we get this ridiculous? Like, we take some things for granted. We just figure like someone's going to tell somebody somewhere how this works, like how to balance your checkbook. Now, I get that I have electronic checking, right? Yes. I don't get a physical statement, but I still balance my checkbook every Friday because it's a habit for me. Like it's a habit to just make sure that all things are working well.
Yeah, Serena.
I don't want to say that we have failed some people.
No, the system has failed.
There is a place, but you've removed cursive writing out of school. You've taken out home economics. You don't talk about. We learned how to do things with stocks and bonds. Exactly. I mean, like, we had a full-on financial class, but these were volunteers who came in to teach that to us. It wasn't it was like this extra thing to our curriculum. And I just thought to myself, how do we get back to that? Because you can't tell me that you didn't know that you shouldn't eat a goddamn Tide Pod, right? Or that you shouldn't stick a whole bottle of cinnamon in your mouth, right? Like, I'm just trying to understand.
Which is a TikTok challenge.
How stupid can you be? Because
these are TikTok challenges. The pods, Tide Pods, and putting them in your mouth. And also, what's the other challenge? Taking a spoonful of cinnamon.
It was just, I thought to myself, this cannot be life.
This is the world we live in.
You have to teach things. So, like, my niece was doing something that required her to do a money order. Now, first of all, I don't know who's still doing money orders or COD.
I had to do a money order last year for the first time in years.
How do you fill this out? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there are these things. But even if you were to do like a cashier's check, and a lot of stuff has gone to more digital, but it's not like the paper still doesn't exist.
Yeah, you still gotta use it.
It does still exist. And you're like, okay, does anybody know how to? Of course I know. I mean, I still write letters. But I enjoy the art of writing a letter or writing a postcard or doing something like that. But I keep going back. You have a computer in your hand. Yeah, it's called your phone.
But like, also, search that stuff. Gwendolyn, but also, I mean, these things still are around. I mean, writing a money order is when you go to the post office. Yeah, there you buy a money, because there are some people that require only money orders.
Money orders. I know. I'm like, what? What?
Because I had to do it last year. I don't know what it was that I had to pay for, but it could only be
Like
paid for by
crazy?
money order. And I was like, money order? I was like, I
I
gotta go
know.
to the post office. I don't ever
Right.
go to the post office.
I know you go to the post. I mean, like I have checks. I only have like a few checks left because a lot of things I do are digital. But I do remember, and I know I'm gonna go ahead and tell my age that like when I got my first set of checks, I wanted to be monogrammed, and then I had some that had like Snoopy on it, and I think that catalog was
That was
current.
big back in the
You could have
day.
like matching address labels.
Yes.
Remember? Good times, and they
Good
were shipped in the
times. Good
mail.
times.
Shipped in the mail. I don't know why people didn't start stealing checks more before that, but what can I tell you? But
Well, it
there's
was the
so
only
much
thing they
fraud now
had.
with checks.
Well, it was the only thing they had too. I mean,
Yeah,
checks was how people did anything. You did everything
anything.
through checks,
Yes.
and you had to balance your checkbook like you said, like every week. Every time you did something, every time you wrote a check, you went through and put the numbers and everything.
But that is
You
still there. The only problem is people don't have a physical ledger. And so
yes,
they find themselves trying to use their mobile statement that's active, right? So this is like a
yes.
live statement. This is not closed, but it's a live statement. And they're like, oh, I got that money back. No, the authorization has fallen off. That does not mean you have $200 in your account. Okay. You can't touch that money,
Dr.
right? And
Tachi
if you go
said,
to the gas station,
uh-huh.
you go, I
Dr. Tachi says
Dr.
those
Tachi's
challenges
comment,
are
Lord
not
bless.
very demure, not very mindful. By the way, I can't stand the demure, mindful thing on TikTok either.
I had never heard that
What
until I
is
saw,
going on with this demure?
it was Dr. Tachi's show that I even found out that that was the thing. I'm not very active on TikTok or social media, period. And I was like, demure, mindful, am I missing
Demure.
something? And I was like, okay.
When I
But
was with
again,
my
your
son
choice.
and we were all hanging out, and he kept saying demure, and I kept saying, "Why is he saying this?" And they were all laughing, and they were all like, but obviously I was the old dude in the room that didn't know what was going on. But
I,
there seems to be this whole thing going on TikTok about demure. And
People
don't
just pick up stuff. And I thought to myself, are we really like lemmings? Like, are we in the age of lemmings where people just
demure or
do
demure. Is
De
that what it is?
demure? Demure, not demure.
Demure?
Demure. Demure? Demure, not
Demure or
demure.
demure?
I just, I shake my head. I shake my head quite often. I'm surprised it's still on because we have access to so many things. Okay, second topic, really quick. And I know that last week somebody mentioned this, and they were talking about it, but the capital gains, the proposed capital gains tax, and
Yes,
the
yes.
unrealized gains tax, and it was interesting to see some people go town to town about why this is so bad, and I thought, bruh, first of all, I don't know all your finances, but I know good and damn well you are not rocking it like that. That much I do know, right? And so there's this thread on Threads where this young lady said, if you were the person who pumps your gas and like jiggles it to get all the gas, which I am, because that's my gas, damn it, I get all my
Jiggle.
gas. Then you
You
don't
do the
have to worry
jiggle?
about the unrealized gay sex. We're just going to strip. Because I just like, I want all my gas. First of all, gas is expensive. I mean, I got to buy premium. I
Every
want all
drop.
of my
You
gas.
want every drop.
All right. And no, I'm not real. I don't have to worry about the unrealized gains. No, I'm not worried about that.
Most people don't have to worry about the
No.
unrealized gains.
Ugh. I was
But
like,
people go off on the most interesting things. They're just like on a tangent. So people do it. I'm looking.
Dr. Tachi.
I love I love that demure and demure. That is definitely something I'm going to look into. Oh God.
So,
And Good Girl says,
yes,
the girls club says they ain't got 100 million to even care about
yes.
the
So
repo's capital gains tax.
that's the second part. So I'm talking to this guy who is a Trump supporter, and I said, bruh, what are you talking about? Like, this does not impact the average American family. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in the boat we're in,
Yes.
right? I was like, before you go out just sharing stuff, you might want to check what you're sharing. Someone actually said, I don't know what this means or that means or that means, but maybe it's not good for me. What you mean you don't know what it is? But like, do you know? Like, how hard can it be? How hard can it be?
But we live in a world where ignorance is celebrated.
Yes.
I mean, there's so many ways to learn.
Mhm.
There's no excuse. Like you said, when someone asks you, what's the weather for today? It's on all of our phones. Right in the right-hand corner or the left-hand corner, you
Right?
click on that wherever the temperature is, and it will give you the weather for the day and for the week.
For the week.
For the week. But it's just that we live in a world of lazy brains. They
Yeah.
just don't want to put in the work just to think on basic stuff. So that's why I try not to lose my mind when it comes to this election, because
No.
of people not being they don't educate themselves on how to just not eat cinnamon.
A whole jar. So last topic. Okay, my last topic.
No, this is good. I'm loving
All
these.
right, here's my last
Thank
one.
you for coming on and doing this, dear.
You're welcome, sir. So I'm out. I'm out doing my walk this morning. And if you walk at the same time every day, you will find the people who are always there. And we do typically say good morning to each other, right? We're like, good
Yes.
morning, good morning, good
Good
morning.
morning. Good
And so
morning.
there's this couple that I see every morning, and she says, oh, she's just so cute. And I was like, oh, thank you. She's like, she ain't got not a lick of fat on her, but you keep doing what you're doing. And I said, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. Now, here's the two things. One, people are watching your journey. Just in case you don't know it,
Yes, they
someone's
are.
always watching you. So that's one. So show up. But two, there is a place where, although I appreciate the idea that I'm out here working out, although there's no fat, it's about my heart. So
Yes.
just being healthy truly is the whole point of working out, just in case we didn't
Yes.
know. I know that the way you look on the outside is a secondary thing, but it's the heart inside. And I'm in my perimenopausal state, Ron, so shit be getting funny sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So I have to be out there on this track. I gotta get out there, goddamn.
If someone
because there are
blows
things
on
to
your
do.
neck, you say, "Oh my gosh, there's a window open." When we were kids, I know this is so bad, but it's true. My
Yes.
mother, when she was going through menopause, we would, like we'll be walking by just walking by her, and how when you walk by someone, you move the wind, you move the air, and then my mother would go, "Oh my goodness, did someone open up the window?" And so we used to sneak up behind her, well, really me, and I would blow on the back of her neck and go, I would go,
oh boy, yeah,
and
yeah.
she says, "Did someone open up a window?"
That's cruel. First of all, it's cruel.
I
But
didn't even know what menopause was when I was a kid. I didn't know what it was.
I don't think we
But
didn't talk about it. We didn't like women didn't talk about a lot of women things. We could say
Yes.
not so long ago. The community is different here because we're at a place where the whole idea of hiding what happens to us on a daily basis, people are over it. Like, and I've told you, Ron, and Ron's like, do I have to know this? Ron calls sometimes like, look, man, I'm pulling my chin hairs right now, so I need a little bit of time. I'm gonna be ready like in 5 minutes. Because that's real. Like, that is reality. That's just, it is part of going through a change, or like the faces peeling and doing all kinds of stuff, or my feet's cold, but like the top half of me is burning up. And so I have the AC on, a fan, and a heater. Yes, that's real. So,
Oh my gosh. But menopause, I
but
mean, and also because now I'm older and now I know what menopause is. When I was a kid, I didn't know what it was. I kept saying, why is it that why every time we walk by, she thinks the window's open? And me being the kid that I must have been like 14, 13, maybe 15 years, maybe 14 years old. And I was like, why is she always talking about the window? I was like, what's going on? So then it became for me, I would just get a kick out of it. I was just like,
Nothing better to do.
I had nothing better to do, and then I realized when I became an adult, like years later, that women when they go through menopause, it is no joke. I mean, my
No.
friend who lives across the street, we'll be hanging out, and she'll say, "Oh my gosh, Ron," and she starts fanning, and she literally just breaks out in sweat.
Yes, full
And
on sweat.
she is just covered in sweat, and she says, "Ron, it's just I'm going through it. It's the change. It's the change." But now I'm older. I know what the change is because I have lots of women in my life that that
Yes.
tell me everything about what they're going through. So I'm surrounded by women. Look, when I was growing up, I was surrounded. My cousins are all girls, mainly, and my god brothers and sisters. My god sister was always around. My godmother was around. My aunties were around. I've been surrounded by women all my life. So I learned about menopause when I was in my 20s.
Mhm, mhm.
But then I realized how cruel it was what I was doing to my mother back in the day, because it was, I mean, I talk to my friends now because they talk real talk with me,
Yes.
because we're all peers. And they were like, "Oh man, Ron, I'm going through the change. It's oh how and I said, so how many more years do you have to go through it? Oh, it's about 5 more years, 6 more years. I was like, how long does this
Like,
last?
it
Oh, it's
depends on the
about
person.
25, 30 years.
Yeah, it depends on the person. There is not like a
Yes.
one answer. I know it. Like in my car, I keep the car on 60. Now, for some people are like, it's freezing. Look, it needs to be on 60. Other than that, I am burning up. And I haven't even started. I haven't even started yet. Like I'm
Yes.
perimenopausal. Like we are not
Sir.
even in it.
I saw a whole thing dedicated on what's her name? One of the TV shows, Tamra Hall. She did a thing on menopause. I was like, holy moly. When the women started talking, I was like, I didn't know that. I didn't know
Yes.
that. I didn't know that. But it's so those topics need to be shared. I'm so glad
Mhm,
that people are now talking about it,
mhm.
because it helps guys understand what women are going through. I mean, the list of things that these experts were talking about, and the different years and how it
Yes.
starts and when it
Mhm.
starts and the pre and it was fascinating to me. It is probably one of the most fascinating topics because half the population goes through it.
Yeah. And research wise, like I was talking to my sister-in-law, she suffers from,
Rita
and she
says,
hate to
"I'm
use the word
in it."
suffer.
She
She
said, "The
said the
nice
nice words are
sweats."
cruel.
She said, "The nice sweats
She
are
has a
cruel."
she has PCOS, right? And I hate to use the word suffer, but like when people, and I'm gonna just say no, let me take it back. When there are men talking about a woman's body and yet have no idea
No
all the
clue.
tomfoolery that goes on inside, take all the stadium seats, like take all them bitches, right? Because research has not been done on women when it comes to like our stuff. There's been some, like we are so
Yes.
behind on how things impact us. We kind of just group it together, and then when they do the research, sometimes they leave out all the different ethnicities that should be also looked at. So in terms of medical information, there is like this whole plethora that still needs to be looked at and investigated. And we're just getting into it.
We're just
So
starting as a
just getting
society.
started.
As a society. The girls club says, "I wish they told us about premenopause. I thought I was losing my mind when it started happening to me."
Right.
And
It's
I
like, am
and
I
I
crazy?
and I and to be quite honest, and now men don't go through menopause, but I believe there's certain stages in my life as we as men, I don't know what it's called. There's no title for it because no one doesn't talk about it. But there are changes that we go through, but
Well, we know
nothing.
men go through changes. I mean, like every single commercial is talking about, is there a bump in your carrot? Well, we know we got problems. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, how many commercials are there for men and their issues, right? Like, it's
Yes,
like,
yes,
I
a
mean, like
bump
real
in your
talk. Like, think
carrot.
about the commercials. There have been so many about what they go through, but it's all about staying manly and being able to keep the lights on. Um,
Fifi says, I started menopause in 2008. I've mastered it.
There you go.
There you go.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I let me tell you when there was a time when I was engaged and my fiance, when she would go through her time of the month, I had it marked out on my calendar. I had it really because she went through emotional swings during her, her moment.
Mhm.
And she would go through emotional tumble salts.
Mm.
And I was like, "Oh no." I would make sure that I go hiking that week or hang out with my buddies or just try and like check in because you could do no right and you can do no wrong. I mean, it was like nothing you would do, she would just lose her mind,
Some people,
obviously.
some women get it really bad. I will tell you, it's so bizarre for me, but I don't mind saying it.
It's not
I
easy being a
get
woman.
into this state of wanting to organize, just about throw out the whole damn house, and I mean that. Like, I'm just like, "I need to go do XYZ," and I will do, like, about 4 or 5 projects. I kid you not.
Tom
Everybody has
says
different
truth.
symptoms, but the
Uh-huh.
symptoms are real. And then
Yes.
there are some people like my sister-in-law who are just it's just like bedridden because it's just that bad. It was
Mm.
that bad for me before I got on birth control. Like I was passing out at school bad. So
Wow.
it's not a one size fits all. And when people speak about like all the things that we have to go through, as I said before, like I had my first biopsy when I was 17 years old because breast
Mm.
cancer ran in my family. So I've been getting mammograms for like forever, forever. Now I'm outside of
Wow.
it, but I still have to go in and get it done. So it's just the idea of getting married and having a baby, just having a baby, they make it seem like it's just so simple. I almost said something wrong. Almost said something. I feel some kind of way sometimes. I feel some kind of way, but
Yes.
but that is it. Gwendolyn is off her soapbox. I'm gonna put my soapbox away. Put it away today. There you go.
You made this last top part of our time together so rewarding.
You're welcome.
I love a good I love when we have these conversations. This is like the water cooler talk on steroids. Anytime you talk about again, w- like, right now here in New York City, I'm not sure in other cities, but the advertisement of him is always on every day, all day.
Mhm,
Him,
mhm.
him. And at first I was like, what's going on with him? And it was talking about all the and I did not realize that there were men that have, erectile, disorders, dysfunctions, and all these things that are going on at such a young age.
Oh yeah,
I did
yeah.
not know.
There was a guy who talked about how, and I'm gonna say this: men don't have breasts. Real men don't have breasts. First of all, there are situations that for some young men in their teenage years they do develop
Tom
breasts.
says, Tom, Tom said, hold on a second. Tom says, he said, "Oh yes, Ron, and don't you dare point at the calendar and tell her any of that. It's so true." She would be upset.
Hey,
Just had to throw that in with Tom. Tom knows.
you took the notes.
Those are
You
the
took,
notes.
you took the
Those
notes.
are I learned that in wedding class. I mean, no, I shouldn't say I didn't learn that in wedding class. Like they didn't teach it, but they were like, you need to know each other. You
You
need
do
to
need to know each
understand
other.
each other. And it was very true. And I made sure I took my notes every time she was going through her moments. I said, click, click, click.
If you're
Oh,
gonna
3
live
more
with
days.
somebody,
Three.
if you're gonna live with somebody, and we talked about this before, like you need to know their habits. Like, are you a morning
Oh
person or
yeah,
are you
Dr.
an
Taji said, is
evening
there a wedding class?
person?
Yes, it is so important. And can I share this with people that are going to get married or want to get married or they have kids that want to get married or young people that want to get married? It is so important that you find a wedding class, a place where you can go and learn. And what they do is they break it down. For instance, how do you deal with conflict? How do you discuss finances? How do you discover your each other's past? What do you think about sexually? What do you think about what are your because a lot of people get married and they don't discuss those topics and now they're married, and they're looking at each other like, "Oh my gosh, I have married the wrong person." And
Yes.
so, in our when we were at our church, they did these wedding classes to prevent divorce. So, I mean, it was like, learn the person first before. So it's premarital counseling.
Yeah.
We had those classes, and then they would assign you to a couple, and the couple will be like as a
I
matter of
never
fact,
got that part of it. I never got that whole part of where here's this couple. I mean, I get the idea of asking
yes,
people for what they're going through. I have always found that if there was a couple, it's kind of like picking your mentor. If there is
yes,
somebody who connects with you on a personality basis, and you're
yes.
more open to be honest with them and tell them stuff. You give me some random couple that got their own, I almost said their own BS.
Their own,
I'm thinking,
their own sugar, honey, iced tea.
yes, there you go. I don't know how that like because some of these folks are out here faking the funk, right? It's like seriously, like this is supposed to be like my idea of who I should fashion my marriage behind. No, no,
No, no.
I watch my parents, right? Like my
Mhm.
mother and my father. They kept it very real. Again, I always say this, I have seen them live all of their vows, every single one of them. So I didn't go into my marriage thinking this is going to be a full-on honeymoon. But for who he was marrying, we had a lot of conversations before we got married.
Yeah.
A lot. I'm sure Mr. Jack was like, what? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We
It's
were going to
important.
have a conversation.
I mean, it was my premarital counseling class, or my wedding class, we won't call it. Premarital wedding, counseling, that really zeroed me in and say, "Oh, I don't want to be married to a woman anymore." Like, I don't want to. I'm like, this is not an option for me.
It's like,
I was like, I can't. I just can't. I can be friends, but I cannot go through this. And it was my fiance, which I thank her for in this aspect. Our relationship was in such extremes
mm,
that it stretched me to say, "Oh, this is probably not for me." And
that's a good thing though.
that was a good thing.
A
It was
great
like,
thing.
wow. And I thank God for her being that person that was an extreme. I mean, she was an extreme on so many levels.
I feel like there's a longer story there because
Oh,
really,
there's a good
Lord, I'm
story, but
sorry,
I
but we
can't
don't
go there.
do yeah, I don't understand. Like
It was
I am a loner. I am a
yes.
loner. My husband is a class A plus loner, and yet we are happily married.
Mhm.
It can happen for us too.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking, how did you meet somebody who was like way off the rocker? Like what?
Yeah. Did we talk about this before?
No.
I think we talked about this
I ain't
before.
got no cocktails this morning, though. I ain't got my mimosa or nothing. I can go get a bottle, though. Hold up. I go get a bottle.
We didn't have
You
this
know, I keep it
conversation,
ready.
Gwendolyn. I think we had this conversation years
Are
ago.
you sure?
Yeah, because
This is not
hello,
ringing
you
a bell
are
then.
the work wife. You were
It's
the
not ringing a
first
bell.
real wife.
I know. I don't.
You were the first real wife and the only wife.
You're so sweet. People always like, what kind of woman is she with two husbands? You mind your business. Don't worry about what I'm doing over here.
Gwendolyn and I used to go because first of all, obviously, look at Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn is a good looking black woman.
Man, don't.
And so
No, now come on now.
so when we used to be at work, and if we had a function that we were going to, like there was an event that was happening, I would say, Gwendolyn, would you like to go? Or she would say, Ron, would you like to go? We were always each other's husband or wife back in the day. So I was like, look, who would not want to walk the streets with Gwendolyn?
And I get clean. Like I'm always looking good anyway.
Mm.
But like if I gotta step out, or we stepping
Oh
out,
yeah.
we
She step
stepping,
out.
stepping.
She
In the
steps.
5 inch
Gwendolyn steps.
heels, ooh, streets of New York, bruh. We was doing the thing. You know what I'm saying? We was doing it. People were like, who are those people?
Yeah.
Yes, take pictures. Yes, yes. Go ahead.
They would look at us. They would look at us coming. I would have my blazers. I had my bow tie because I was known for my bow ties.
You were.
And so we would go everywhere together, and we often laugh about this now because we have I grew up in church, and I have this church friendship groups of friends that don't call, don't reach out to me, don't say hello, don't do anything. They call them they say they're your friend, but they don't reach out. They don't they don't- if I told them my favorite color was blue, they would never know because they don't reach out. So anyway, that's that being the point. So one day, Gwendolyn Gwendolyn, let me just say it again. Gwendolyn sent a amazing, beautiful birthday wish on Facebook. I would like to thank I am so thankful that I am blessed to have an amazing husband like Ron Foster, yada yada yada. And she gave this whole thing about how dear I was to her, and I'm so thankful. Lord have mercy. Friends were like, wait a minute. When did Ron get married? How did he? People I had never heard from in years. People that don't even say hello were in my DMs and saying, "Oh my gosh, Ron, you got married. Oh my gosh, when did you get married?" And I was like, y'all, if y'all been following my life like y'all
Really?
supposed to, if you're friends, you would know I have a work wife.
Hello? Like, hello?
And then Gwendolyn being the way she is, she says, "Let's give him something else."
You damn right. I'm going for the gusto. Because I will get in it. I will get in it. I will ride that bitch until she is like raw. I'm gonna get in it.
She says, "Let's give him something else to talk about." And we laughed. So next thing you know, I went back. I went back to her and said, "I am so thankful for having the most amazing wife like you. Blah 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 blah. It's been so beautiful. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Yada yada yada." Then she came back with something else, and Lord knows everyone was like, "I can't believe it. I can't believe it. When did Ron get married? I can't believe it. What? I didn't know. I thought he was." It was hilarious. It was
We've had some
but
good times, but we had some great times with it though. Even in the city, they were like, I thought somebody said, I thought Ron was gay. I was like, you can say it out loud. It's okay. Yes, he is. And then they asked me, like, I thought, so you guys are together? Man, people be doing the most. They
Oh
be
yes, the
doing
most
the
is
most. I was
it
like, oh
was
my God.
so funny. But I tell you, that's why you see this chemistry. Gwendolyn and I do have this chemistry, and it's because we have laughed about so many things. And we've also had to pause in life and talk about serious things.
Yeah.
And we have been each other's friends and support for many, many, many years. And I'm always like, when I find people that don't have good friendships, I'm like, they're missing out on something so beautiful
Mm,
because
mm.
I mean, Gwendolyn will say she will get on the phone in a month, Ron, I'm just driving to Houston, just need to talk. And Gwendolyn can talk the whole trip
All 4 hours.
from
All
Dallas
4
to
hours.
Houston, and we're on
And
the
giving
phone.
color commentary along the way, because these people who driving out here, oh my goodness,
Oh yeah,
it is.
and she'll be like, "I
He's
can't
you're
believe he cut me
accustomed to it at
off.
this
He
point.
cut me off."
You're accustomed to it. He's like, and I'll tell Ron, I'm gonna do a quick 100 miles per hour, really quick. Hold on, and he's like, oh my God, yes,
Yes, but it's so good to have a friendship like the friendships. Like, I have a couple of friends. I always say I can count them on my hand of friends that I can literally just, I don't ever have to regulate, or
Mhm,
I'm pretty much
mhm.
never regulated anyway. But there's also some decorum when you go to certain, as they say, read the room.
Yes.
And I'm a believer of reading the room and who can handle my conversation or handle me at my full potential. Not everyone can handle you.
I
Not
typically ask. I
yeah,
typically ask, like, if
yeah,
there is somebody who's new in the space. Like when I first met Chris, I had
yes.
to ask him, like, just want to know, where your filters lie. I understand. You know how people say if like people who have to use vulgarities have a low vocabulary? No, bitch. This vocabulary is deep. Okay. Sometimes I like to just go there because I
Yes,
can.
women can go
I
there,
like
and
a
she
little
can
season.
go there. She can
I
go
like a
there.
little
Don't
seasoning in my food and all the things, like rock with it. But if I know the person doesn't vibe like that, I'm like, okay, well, let me just, I know how to put on a filter. Like it's perfectly fine, but I also
yeah.
know who I am. And it doesn't mean that I don't have the words to articulate what I need to say, but sometimes to get folks to pay attention, you got to catch them in the throat. You know what I'm talking about?
So anyway, so
Yes.
guys, so now you know why the chemistry we have is so good. And not good, it's great. I love me some Gwendolyn. That's my girl. We hang out, we talk, we can chat, and we literally almost talk every day. If it's and even now, to this day, she's married, has a husband. I love Mr. Jack, and sometimes when
Mr.
she'll tell me
Jack.
something, and I'll say, I think Mr. Jack is right. She'll be like, what
Yeah,
girl?
you
What
do.
are you talking about? Mr. Jack
Use
is
it.
right.
Give me your 2 cents. I don't need that. I don't need that over here.
I was like, I think Mystic Jack may be onto something here. And I love her husband. He is such a wonderful man. And I always say the story because I remember when he came out of the blue, he came out of nowhere because Gwendolyn and I were talking for many years and he said, well, maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And she was like, oh, you know what? I'm okay with being single. I'm okay. I'm fine.
Which is
And she was
true.
just living her life. She was just living her life out of nowhere. Ron, you won't believe who I met this week. I was like, excuse me? She goes, yeah, I was going running and da 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 da. We want to. Oh, she's like, and then next thing you know, it was a couple of months later. I think it was. Well, how many months did you guys date?
See, we met in April. We had our first meet and greet on Kentucky Derby Day, first Saturday in May, which I came late to, but I told her, I was like, look, the Kentucky Derby is on, so I'm gonna come late, but I'm coming.
Mm-hmm.
And then by September, he proposed. Because for him, he's like, I knew when I knew. So I didn't really need to have
It was quick. It came. Look,
it was quick. And
most people are like engaged for like a year, 2 years,
no, and
carrying
for me,
on. That's
I believe
ridiculous.
like if you're older, you kind of do have
You
an
know.
idea. Like
Yeah.
my idea was different though, because I was perfectly fine with just being Gwendolyn, right? Doing my thing. I just wanted somebody to go out with from time to time if I wanted company. If you're
Yes.
a loner, you are a loner. I don't need you
Yes.
by my side, all up in my bosom and stuff. Like, go get you some business. So mine was more of I want to go out someplace and I want a partner at that time, then that's where they came in. But he had set up a birthday trip, horseback riding in Austin. Everybody's like, he's gonna propose. He's gonna propose. And I refused to let myself like buy into that. And then I started thinking about it. And then he showed up. He went to the car and he brought this bag from a jewelry store out the car, and I thought, oh my god, is it happening? Is he about to do something? And then he pulls out this box, and I thought, oh my god, please don't. And it's a necklace. And then the moment I thought, oh, it's a necklace, and I also thought, oh, why did I let myself go there? Because I shouldn't have gone there, right? Shouldn't have gone there. So then he says later on that night at dinner, he's like, is your finger itching? And I was like, no, I showered, I feel pretty good. And he was like, no, is your ring finger itching? He's like, I'm not understanding. I'm not
You said no, I
understanding.
showered.
And he just said that he was looking for a promise ring. And I was like, do people still do that? Because we're like in our age.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, so what do you want? 2 carats, 3 carats? And I was like, So it didn't happen. Came back to work and everybody's like, show me the ring. I was like, ain't no ring. There's no ring here. So stop. But I had gotten sick a week later. So he came over, brought me some chicken soup and everything. And then we went out for shakes. And we were sitting in his car in the parking lot. And he had his tablet. My husband, I love him. He's a wallflower that's not always on the wall, but he's a nerd. And so he carries his tablet with him at all times. And he was shopping for rings while I was in the car. And he said again, it's like, you want like 1 carat, 2 carat? I was like, what are you doing over there? He's like, I'm looking for a ring. And I was like, what? And I didn't, I really didn't take it to heart. But the song comes on and he says, Gwendolyn, I need a moment. And I'm thinking, but take all the moments you want. Like, it's your call. And then he says, will you marry me? And I was like, are you crazy? That was my response. He looked at me like, that's not the response I was looking for. But obviously I said yes. I said yes.
Yeah, here
So
you are. I
here
mean,
we
and
are.
in 2 weeks you'll have your anniversary.
2 weeks. Yeah, 7 years. 7
Hmm.
years, which is, it's been really good. But I think for myself, because my parents love Kenneth. My dad is now deceased, but he loved Kenneth. I mean, it was just
I think
they
everybody
they
loved
adored
him.
him.
I no matter.
Yes.
I think everyone that meets him, he's a
Yes.
great guy. He's
He's a good guy.
just a great guy.
He is. He's
So
a good guy. It's kind of hard. It's kind of like I asked him. I said, "Do people have arguments like that all the time?" I said, "Do we argue like that?" He's like, "No, we rarely have arguments. Like rarely." But you got to think for people who have to communicate with others, we take time to talk about a lot of
but
stuff,
you
and then
talk a lot.
we
You
talk a
two,
lot.
you guys talk a lot. I mean, and
Yeah.
you're one. What's great about your personality is that there are very little things that are put under a rock. You don't know how to put things under a rock. You just simply, if it bothers you, you say it. If it doesn't, you just you just say, you know what, this is not worth talking about. This is, I
Yes.
mean, this is small. This is a small matter, and then you move on.
Yeah.
But you have, and I think we're both that way. We're
Mhm.
like, if I'm agitated, I will tell you. It's not to be mean, but
No.
you will not have to guess what I'm thinking.
Mm-mm.
For all the people that are close to me, they never have to guess what I'm thinking.
But I'm not going to use the word strategic. It is thoughtful though. So if I know
Yes.
I'm still in the moment, I keep myself quiet because once you put it
Yes.
out there, you can't take it back.
That's
So
right.
I will sit with it and then I think it through. Like we could talk about it now because he knows about it, but we have nonstick cookware. My father was a private chef, so I picked up a lot of his habits. I am very particular about my cookware. The kitchen is my sanctuary. Is where
Mm.
I get all my grooves on. And so he's using my cookware and he takes a knife to my skillet and he cuts into it. I was like, oh my God. Um, the younger me would have been angry that you have, in so many words, destroyed my cookware. But then you start thinking it's a skillet, right? It's gonna come, it's going to go. Your
Yes.
relationship is so much bigger than that. And at the big scheme of things, if you go down this path, where will it go and where would it get you? And then you realize it ain't that big a deal. Put it to the side and forget about it.
It's
Forget
so
about it.
true.
Right? I mean, like it's just not worth it. Like I talked about the hot dog that he went out and got. And I mean, silent treatment. It was like 3 days. I was like, I'm not talking to that man because he don't know. So but you have to work. You have to ask yourself, is it really worth fighting for? Like, is that worth fighting for? Is
Is this
this
where I'm
the
gonna
hill
plant
you're
my
going to die?
flag?
Right? Like, is this the hill? So I think things through. And then once I thought about it, put it on the back burner. If I'm not upset, it's like, it ain't even worth it. Now I may
No.
blog about it, and he may see it later. He's like, I see you put that out there. Yes, sir, I most certainly did. I talked about you with your foolishness. Yes.
Anyway, we're gonna let you guys go. It is almost 11:30, so we're gonna let you
Holy
guys go.
sniping.
Oh, this was great. Gwendolyn, it is always a delight when you pop up on. It is,
You're welcome, sir.
we don't ever know where we're gonna go in this community, which is great. That's what I love about it. As in Motivation Monday, guys, it's a new month, it's a new day. Let's really be strategic. For most of us, we're getting ready to head into our last quarter. Can I say that again? We're getting ready to start our last quarter
Mm,
after September. September
mm.
ends the third quarter. And for those business minded people, so let's really dig in. We're going into fall. Like I said, Gwendolyn came up with an amazing thing that we're going to share with you at some point soon. But don't, if something is not working in your business, don't be afraid to shift gears.
Mhm.
Don't be afraid to change it up a little bit. Try something new. Go for something. Yeah, we're gonna be in Q4. Woo!
Yes.
Fourth quarter. And so let's really all the business minded people, the ones that have businesses, the ones that have hobbies that are businesses, that you're change or you're kind of like in that transition. This is your time, because September is where you really need to put it together. Because if you go, especially for those of us who sell stuff, like I have my
Mhm,
Etsy store, I'm
mhm.
selling on my Etsy store. The holidays, people start buying for the holidays end of September.
Yep.
They start buying for holiday stuff. So get your holiday, if you're knitting scarves, then get the scarves ready. If you got whatever you're selling, get it ready. So that way it's all ready and set for the end of September. And you can start doing your Christmas advertisements and
Mhm.
marketing and all the other stuff. So let's really, as Motivation Monday, let's just kind of get motivated to our crafts. Let's get motivated to what we do. Let's get motivated to share with the world, so that way we can get the maximum of this time in this last quarter. Okay, guys. Gwendolyn, thank you so much. You are the best. I am always thankful for you, as always. I mean, you just like freaking frat.
Thanks for having me.
Raggedy Ann and Andy.
I love my Raggedy Ann doll.
We're a bunch of Raggedy Ann and Andys. Serena says, she says, last quarter, let's go. Um, Roshan said, this was fun. I see that. Awesome. I'm glad. Yeah, right. It's just good to just hang out, right? Just to hang out with the community. And I still want everyone to get used to having that QR code in the corner so they can scan it and just pop on, because the community is growing. We have lots of people out here every day. Most of us are regulars, and we'll have some new people in as well, I'm sure. But this is our time together, and let's make it special, because every day is special. So, guys, live life like you mean it, and what focus on what matters. Okay, we're out of here, y'all. And see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we teach. Oh, someone made a request last week, and guess what we're teaching tomorrow? Tomorrow's Tip Tuesday is about what? Food photography.
Ooh.
We're talking food photography tomorrow. So come on in. We're going to chat about that tomorrow. Food photography on our Tip Tuesday. Okay, guys, I'm out of here. Later.